We're going through some of the craziest times ever. Appreciate life when it's good.
Tell me why you gotta leave me now. But I'm getting through these tough times when you're not around. Like a rose coming up from the ground, yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 3 of the Indie Music Money Podcast with your host, Rob Boss from Boss Management. This podcast is where I break down different revenue streams within the music industry. My plan is to go over the 100 that are discussed in this book, Making Money with Music. So today in episode 3, we're going to be talking about our first income stream. I'm super excited for that. So there's a lot of revenue streams based off of your persona. And so we're kind of going to focus on that. So in the beginning, I'm going to break down what a persona is, and then we'll just go from there. Awesome. I'm so excited to get started. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. So, a persona is defined as the aspect of someone's character that is presented to or perceived by others. So, the authors of Making Money with Music stress that if you keep changing your persona, it will just confuse people about who you are and make it harder to attract fans to you and your music. So your persona is reflected through your expressions, such as your music, how you look, imagery, your story, the tone of how you speak, and of your content, your attitude, and more. The best personas are aligned with the music, but aren't limited to music alone. So a well-crafted persona encompasses everything you do. So it contains your brand, essentially. And often the most successful music businesses are also lifestyle brands that expand into clothing lines or non-musical items. Just a side note there. All right, so now I'm going to go into the 10 qualities that your persona should have. So the first one is accuracy. Your persona should give people a clear sense of what you are and what your music is about. The next thing is impact. Your persona should convey its message quickly and easily, but also be memorable. So your graphics, so the image should represent you at a glance, and then your appearance on and off stage should express your concept. So the more impactful your logo, tagline, and other elements are, the more likely your fans are to buy your branded merch. The third quality your persona should have is repetition. Repetition cements your persona in the mind of each person that it meets. The next thing is consistency. So because repetition is the key to strengthening your persona, consistency is absolutely critical. Changing elements of your persona on a whim often confuses the associations that you've built up over time in people's minds. So you want to stay consistent. The next thing is pervasiveness. So to ensure repetition and consistency, brand everything you can. So your websites, albums, videos, social presences, your press kits, posters, and everything else. The next thing is reliability. A persona is about how your fans relate to you and how they see themselves in what you put out in the world. So it's essential to be relatable. The next thing is likability. Your persona should make people like you or what you do. So I just want to put in a little side note here. Even abrasive personas can be likable. It's just how you do it. So if that's your brand, I'm not saying you need to change your brand and be the sweetest, most likable person. I'm saying be you and do you. Some people who are, abrasive and strong and, stand for what they stand for are liked because of that. So be who you are, and you'll find your own clan within that. The next thing is familiarity. So if your fans find something familiar within their persona to hook onto, you can generate instant connections to people within your audience. The next quality is uniqueness. So a persona that doesn't stand out doesn't get noticed. Remember that. The next thing is emotion. So the best personas can evoke feelings, moods, and emotions in others that increase a sense of connection and can create a stronger relationship with your fans. So those are the 10 qualities your persona should have. The next thing I'm going to discuss is what you can do to define your to help you define your persona. So a good first step is to chronicle your achievements and music history to make it easier to talk about yourself as an artist and the music you make to the press and also your fans. So this chronicle should be kept up to date, and it should be used to form the basis of future press kits, bios, and stories about yourself. This is not something that is going to be put out to the public. It's strictly for you. It's to help you create marketing, publicity, booking, and promotional material to weave your story together and make it easier to talk about what you've accomplished and what you've gotten done. So the elements that should go into your chronicle are starting with your music timeline. So you need to capture and write down all the major dates in your music history. For example, when you started making music, when you formed a band, when you released albums, published your videos, had major performances, or started producing your music. The second thing is discography and list of releases. So make a discography with every song, album, EP, and single that you've put out. Keep track of the total number of songs that you've both written and stuff that you've put out. The next thing is going to be music videos. So you should have a full list of music videos you've released. The next thing is going to be all of your creative projects. So list any creative projects or collaborations that have used your music. Example, other people's videos, films, podcasts, plays, etc. All right, the next thing is publicity. So list out all of the publications, articles, blogs, or other coverage you've gotten for yourself and your music, including any interviews. And then you should have a total number of outlets that have covered you as well. The next thing is going to be listing your complete show calendar. So to list all of the performances you've done, and then you should total up the number of performances you've done to show off your stage experience. If it's a low number, that's fine. It's just something you can put out there once it's a higher number. It's just about getting those reps. The next thing is going to be the major venues that you've played at. So list the famous venues that you've played because it's useful for your story and marketing. And you can always incorporate bad stories. You should be honest and share your experience. So, maybe you played at some place you thought it was going to be great and it really wasn't. Like, maybe share that with your fans. Be open, be real. The next thing is going to be places you've toured. So list all of the countries and cities that you've performed in and keep track of the total number. The next thing is going to be each famous person or artist you've worked with. List any well-known people that you've worked with, since these are always attention-getting in interviews. The next thing is to make a list of awards that you've won. And then to also list every organization that you belong to. So that could be live music or organizations, charities, or any other relevant associations. You should also list every artist, band, and producer that you've worked with, because they're part of your story and that can all go on your timeline. The next thing is to list everywhere your music has been played. So radio stations, podcasts, TV, streaming, anywhere else. The next thing is going to be to list the instruments you play and the music software you use. So you should list this to provide material for more technical or industry-facing press or media interviews. The next thing that you should write down is the schools or music training programs that you've gone to. And then the last thing is going to be your social media. So you should list your social media presences along with any notable follower, subscriber, or viewer counts. And so at the end of this, you should total up each category of things, just to make that easier to share. So you can share that total number with anybody in an interview or anything like that. Cool. So the first income stream we're going to talk about based off of your persona is crowdfunding. So crowdfunding is a powerful pre-sales mechanism that gets fans involved in your projects. So as I've talked about in previous episodes, you should classify your fans between 3 levels of spending. The first one is minnows. They spend the minimum amount of money. The next thing is dolphins, which is like your regular customer. The third thing is going to be whales, who are your super fans and who have money and who want to spend it on you. So with your crowdfunding, you should create rewards at each spending level. We'll talk about that more later. So the first important aspect of crowdfunding is figuring out who your crowdfunding partner should be. So what website you're going to use. So there are 2 main types of funding models. There's the all or nothing model, like Kickstarter, which is you either meet your goal and you get that money, or if you don't meet the goal, you don't get any of it. So this can be an advantage in some cases because you're not required to still get the project done if you don't meet the goal. Which would mean like not raising the funds. So if you don't meet the goal and you can't complete the project, you don't have to, which is cool. And then the other type of funding models is the flexible funding, such as Indiegogo. So you can choose from all or nothing there or the partially funded, which would mean if you get a partial funding, you at least get that. So this would definitely be cool for certain projects. And if you're really just trying to get some funding, like anything is great. So that would definitely be the choice for you. I just mentioned the 2 different ones there. So Kickstarter and Indiegogo. You can for sure look up other ones. Those were just the main ones that came up in the book. So there are some secondary things you should look into on your own. So definitely think about the fees and platform costs. So each platform will have a certain fee or they'll take a percentage. So just keep that in mind. Keep in mind the campaign limitations and requirements and like the different features that the sites have. So just look into that on your own. So the next thing we're going to talk about is how to run a successful crowdfunding campaign. So the key to a successful crowdfunding campaign is to organize the campaign to maximize fundraising. Campaigns that utilize the steps I'm about to talk about are often able to get past their first goal, and they can even go into higher stretch goals, which can bring you more money. So if you take this seriously and you follow all these steps, you could potentially be raising more money than your original goal was. So here are the steps. The first step is to choose the project you're going to have funded, whether that's an album, a video, a tour, a home studio. It could literally be anything. That's up to you, and depending on how good your project is whether or not people are going to want to support. So try to have something, that's like within your brand and something that you really want to get done, something you're passionate about, something you're actually going to, turn into a really cool result for all of your fans. The next step is going to be to choose your crowdfunding platform, which I just discussed previously. The next thing is going to be to choose your funding goal and at least one stretch goal. So don't forget to add in the platform cut, or you'll find yourself getting less money than you projected. Announce your stretch goal on the first day because it might encourage people to pledge more money. The next step is going to be to shoot a video. So video is the most critical marketing component because videos go viral in a way that no other media does or can. So try to make sure your video is done well. And it's going to be something that's shareable and something that you can actually see going viral. The next step is going to be to make a list of promoters. So I'll definitely go more into depth in this in a different episode. I'll go into a marketing episode where we'll talk about contacts and stuff like that. But it's definitely good to make a list of people that you work with or people that you talk to that are going to be able to help you push this. The next thing is going to be to plan your rewards, and we'll discuss this in the next part of this episode. The next step is going to be to get initial backers. So you should make a list of people you know will donate on the first day, and you should get their promise that they are going to contribute before it starts. So why do you want to do this? Because people are more likely to join in to a project that they think is going to be successful. So your goal is to trigger this psychological reaction by using your initial backers in the first couple of days. So we'll talk about this more. But the next step is going to be to choose your start date and your end date. So studies show that most funding happens at the beginning and the end of a fundraising campaign. And 4-week campaigns tend to do the best. So plan according to that. Another thing to note is that make sure that your end date doesn't fall on a holiday or a time where people would be less likely to pitch in. Whatever's more convenient for the people around you is definitely best. The next step is going to be to do your soft launch on a Monday or Tuesday. So this is the point where you're going to ask those initial backers to actually contribute, and you're going to hold off on announcing it to your fans. You're just going to get these people to back your project first, which will kind of provide social proof that you already have people who are willing to contribute money to your cause. So soft launch on Monday or Tuesday, probably Monday, to give your initial backers 2 days. And then on Wednesday, the next step is we're going to do the kickoff for the official launch on Wednesday in the afternoon. So research shows that Wednesday afternoons are when people reshare the most on social media because they're taking a break from work or from school, whatever. So you need to make sure your video is ready to be shared. So what you're going to do is you're going to post your video and announce it on all of your social media. And then you're going to ask any promoters, initial backers, and any other media that that has an audience to share it on that same Wednesday. So you're really going to get this big push on that day. The next step is once it's running, you're going to make announcements at the right points. So announcements can reach new backers, but they're also aimed at convincing existing backers to contribute more and to kind of go into a higher reward level. So when to make announcements. So there should be one at the beginning, middle, and end of the campaign. But at a standard, you should have at least one update every week. You should also announce whenever you're close to your main goal, or if you end up being close to a stretch goal, to encourage new backers or to encourage more support from existing backers. The next time to announce is going to be when you achieve the goal. When you achieve your main goal. So you should celebrate this milestone, and then you should announce the next stretch goal. And then if you reach that goal, then celebrate the milestone and then announce the next stretch goal after that. You should announce when you've gained a high profile backer or notable media coverage. And then you should make an announcement on the last few days to encourage final contributions. And then the last time is to make an announcement when the campaign has ended. So if you're having a lot of activity on your fundraiser, keep the announcements to no more than once every few days. Unless there's something specifically noteworthy, because you don't want to overwhelm people. All right, and then at the end of the campaign, you're going to send out the last announcement. And then if you've made it through your funding goal, I want you to make sure you're going to follow through. So every person who backed you now feels like they are a part of your project. So they will want to hear your progress and see the final result. They want to see what they actually helped you make. I also just want to throw this in there that crowdfunding campaigns are taxable income and should be reported to the government. I'll definitely have a taxing episode later, but that's going to be down the road. So next we're going to talk about choosing the right rewards for your crowdfunding campaign. So you'll want low-end rewards to lure in minnows and get people to participate. And then you'll also want to provide higher-end rewards for whales and higher-paying customers. So the first reward should be the $1 reward to hook people who are casually interested. So once you get people that are hooked, with each update you send, you'll be able to try to upsell them to a higher reward, or maybe they'll share the campaign with your friends. So a good example of a $1 reward would be a downloadable single. The next side is going to be the $10 reward. So this is the perfect price point for a downloadable digital album. So try to include extras, maybe like picture or a music video or an extra song. So it's a little different than what they would get if they were just to purchase your album elsewhere. The next thing you're going to want to do is set your $25 reward. So data shows that the $25 reward is the most common pledge. So you want to offer a variety of things here to really capture this special price point. So this is the first level you can really consider non-digital items. So you can have the option to maybe send them merch or something like that. And And then you can have 2 different options, so they can choose between 2 different things. So you could have the physical thing, you could mail them, as well as a digital equivalent, something of a $25 value that you could send them immediately, so they can have that option as well. So you can say, hey, I'll send you this, you have to wait for it, or you can get this thing right now. And it's up to you what you want to push. The book definitely talks about pushing them towards the non-physical things, so you don't have to worry about shipping and all that. But, you know, if you have a ton of shirts, or if you really wanted to sell some shirt, or not sell, but like if you really wanted to give out merch and have people wearing your stuff, then do it. And then after that, it's kind of up to you, but you should set rewards that are going to be greater than $25. So I would create a few more tiers ranging from higher than $25 up to like $500. And then the options are endless in terms of rewards for that. But here are some of my ideas. So you could give them previous albums or rarities from your back catalog. You could send special CDs, vinyls, USBs. You could add their name to liner notes. You could give your fans some power and let them vote on album art. You could have like a pre-selected choice of 3 or 4 things and have them all vote. That'd be kind of cool. And then for some of the higher price things, you could do backstage access, VIP pass, hanging out with the band, or a house concert. I do want to make a note here to not overcommit yourself, but definitely offer interesting rewards that are going to make people want to invest and support you, and things that they really think they can't get from other artists, you know, but make it unique to you as well. And then basically with the rewards, you can research other campaigns for different ideas and see what worked well for other crowdfunding campaigns and what didn't, to really figure out what you should do or what you shouldn't do. And then just the last little note is clever names for each like tier can really be like the final sell. So just, you know, if you're a clever person, for sure lean into that. Be you, have fun with it. And as always, you guys can ask me any questions. You can reach out to me directly below. You can leave a comment for the podcast. You can hit me up on social media at our boss management. Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. I was so excited to share the first income stream with you. So this is the first out of more than 100. I want to just make that clear. Yeah, if there's anything that you want covered, if you have any further questions, please hit me up. Let me know. And I'm always happy to help. I DM people all the time who ask me random questions about, oh, I'm putting out music, can you help me with a plan, blah, blah, blah. I send them like templates and stuff. Yeah, so I'm more than happy to help you out. And if you're listening to this, thank you so much. If you have subscribed to this, thank you. It's just going to get better as it keeps going. Yeah, that's all I got for this episode. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next week. Be safe. Peace.
Tell me why you gotta leave me down, but I'm getting through these tough times when you're not around. Like a rose coming up from the ground, yeah, from the ground, yeah. Tell me why you gotta leave me down, but I'm getting through these tough times when you're not around. Like a rose coming up from the ground, from the ground, yeah, from the ground, yeah.
You wasn't here then, you're not here now. Gifted by choice movement, this is the come up. You not coming through right now, don't come through later when we pop. 'Cause we gon' pop by any means. I'd rather die trying than die in that desk at a 9 to 5. Blow my brains out before I get one of